Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video here on the Around the Slice YouTube channel. We are here today to go over, first of all, we are only a day before the 2024 NFL Draft. By the time you're seeing this, it might be near the draft or might be almost over. Who knows when you're seeing this, but either way, today we are going over my guys on the defensive side of the ball in the 2024 NFL Draft. Last week, I went over my guys in the draft on the offensive side of the ball. To explain myself here quick, these are guys that either A, I am seeming to be higher on than the consensus, out there seemingly, or I just really like for one reason or another, or most importantly here, I say this most importantly, if I were in a draft room / war room, which I'm not, but if I was, I would personally pound the table for these guys. I want them on my team, especially. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, these are officially my guys on the defensive side of the ball, are presented by Around the Slice in the 2024 NFL Draft. I will give their measurements, which is height, weight included, and I will give a dream / best / perfect NFL team fit and what round and whatnot, first, second, third, so on and so forth. Fourth, fifth, you get the drill. And then I will kind of get into why I like them so much. So without further ado, let's just jump on into it. First, we have a couple of defensive tackles. Again, just like my offensive video last week, if you saw that. If you didn't, it's fine either way. I had limited to 2 per position because it just gets out of control. Like, how many of your draft crushes can you have? So a couple of defensive tackles here, starting with Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle out of Michigan. For measurements, he is 6'3", 305. That's perfectly fine defensive tackle size. I know it's not hulking or anything, but that's perfectly fine. Like Grady Jarrett plays at that comes to mind from the Falcons. That's fine. And my dream NFL fit for him is the Houston Texans in the second round. I think at pick 42, if you pick Chris Jenkins, that has a home run slam dunk pick, because they don't have many needs. Their needs are like maybe some O-line depth, because all 5 from left to right of their starters are locked in. Maybe a dude at defensive tackle, because they traded away Malik Collins to the 49ers, only got a 7th round pick back. Sheldon Rankins left to sign with the Bengals in free agency, so you need something here. Tim Settle is not going to get it done, and I like Denico Autry, but you need someone opposite of him, and you need someone for the future just past this 1-year deal with Denico Autry besides. Imagine a defensive line of, just imagine this in your head. At one defensive end spot, you have Will Anderson. At the other defensive end spot, you have Danielle Hunter. And then in the middle, defensive tackles, you have Denico Autry and Chris Jenkins. I mean, that's superb in my opinion. So drafting Chris Jenkins in the second round, and I tend to gravitate besides JJ McCarthy. You know, I don't like JJ McCarthy, but I like. We're going to talk about a Michigan defensive back. I won't spoil it here, but towards the end of the video, we're going to talk about another Michigan corner and specifically, I should say rather. But I really like Blake Corum. He didn't make the offense video last week, but I still really like him. I like Chris Jenkins here. I like the linebacker Junior Colson out of Michigan. I really love Roman Wilson. He was my offensive my guys video last week as well. I really like their tight end AJ Barner. So there's a lot of guys from Michigan that I tend to gravitate towards. Again, besides JJ McCarthy, but you guys know that hopefully by now from podcast videos and whatnot, or what have you, I should say rather. Yeah, but the Texans are a perfect fit for Chris Jenkins here. I think they need a dude at defensive tackle, and I think that defense as a whole on the defense side of the ball will be set in stone with that missing piece, if you will. But it's not even that huge of a missing piece. I just really love this fit. Next, second, 2 defensive tackles I love. This might be a bad look for me, but whatever. T'Vondre Sweat, defensive tackle, Texas. You see the measurables there, like eye-popping, kind of in a negative way. 6'4", 366. He had a bad, let's be honest, guys, he had a bad pre-draft process. There were reports that he was playing during the season at Texas like 375, 380 around there. And maybe you can get up to 385, but 375, 380, that's just too much. And people talk about Jordan Davis was overweight coming in. Yeah, he's cut some weight down in the NFL, which is good. But coming out of Georgia, he was 340, and even that was overweight. And Devendra Sweat plays at Texas, playing it as like reported 375, 380, and then he goes to the Senior Bowl, doesn't test there. Okay, well, people are thinking, okay, well, maybe he doesn't want to test because he cut down some weight for the combine. No, at the combine, he's at 366. So, yeah, there is some truth. He was playing more than 366 during the season, but 6'4", 366. And then all you have to do is stay out of trouble in the month of April. This seems to happen every year. There's one guy that gets into trouble in the last 2 weeks leading up to the draft. Last year, it was Jalen Carter. This year, it's Devendra Sweat. Unfortunately, we were talking about Devendra Sweat as an early to mid second round pick at the very least, or maybe even late first in some mocks, 26 to 32, somewhere in that range. But my dream NFL fit for him now is the Cowboys. I think staying in the state of Texas around family and friends and whatnot does help him kind of get back on track, if you will, from the DWI arrest. But Cowboys in the 5th round, I don't think this guy's going in the top 100 anymore. The top 100, if you don't know, is 3 picks. So the top 96 scheduled plus the 4 compensatory. So top 100, excuse me, for the first 3 rounds. I think you can give him in the middle of the 5th round where the Cowboys, or late 5th round, I should say, or rather where the Cowboys are picking. But 5th round, Cowboys, I think him staying in the state of Texas. But his run defense is like off the charts. Like you're not getting through him. Like he needs to be double teamed on day in and day out, and day in and day out, on a down in and down out. That doesn't even make sense, but you know what I mean. Hopefully, but yeah, I really do like Devendra Sweat, just minus the red flag of the off the field DWI arrest thing. So yeah. Next, going on to a couple pass rushers. Edge, defensive end, whatever you want to term it. Jared Verse, defensive end, Florida State. I really like this guy's story. I mean, so he went to an FCS program in Albany, so Albany, New York. And I'm not local, but like if you guys don't know, I live about 3 hours. Yeah, ballpark about 3 hours from Albany. So that's kind of cool to see Jared Verse go from an FCS program in Albany for 2 years to Florida State for another 2 years to a likely top 10 pick. And in this scenario, Jared Verse at 6'4", 260, I have Bears number 9 overall pick. I think for the Bears, if Roma Dunes is there, you take him, or they could go Jared Verse, or they could go Byron Murphy, defensive tackle out of Texas. But in this scenario, I have him going with Jared Verse. 6'4", 260. He's got a lot of power. He's got powerful hands. He's not very twitchy, though. The negatives are he needs to develop his pass rush arsenal. Like Laiatu has all the pass rush moves in the world. Jared Verse, not really. He's an okay athlete. Like he's an okay, above average athlete, but he's not like a Chop Robinson or Darius Robinson or anyone like that. And he kind of disappears in big moments. I think he had a better 2022 season at Florida State than 2023. But you can say that for a lot of these defensive prospects. But let's just say he goes the Bears at number 9 overall, opposite Montez Sweat. I mean, they don't have anything besides Montez Sweat. I'm serious. Like I can't even name him right now. So, I mean, someone who's deep into football, I can't really name him. So it's Montez Sweat and who else? So Jared Verse would make sense. Maybe number 9 is a tad high. Maybe you would think he'd go in mid to late teens or whatever, but I don't think he'll slip that far. This is my scenario anyway. So, okay. And next, my guy is Jonah, second of 2 defensive ends. Jonah Ellis, defensive end, Utah. So this is in the group of like, obviously you have the big 4, big 5 for the sake of argument. Let's just say Darius Robinson from Missouri, classify him as an edge. So you have the big 5, if you will, in Dallas Turner. And I think these are in order, in my opinion, by the way. Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, Latu, Chop Robinson from Penn State, and Darius Robinson from Missouri. And then after that, it's a pretty big fall off the cliff, if you will. Talent cliff, as they say in the draft world. You have like Jonah Ellis from Utah, which I have here. You have like Chris Braswell, who is opposite Dallas Turner at Alabama. Adisa Isaac, who is opposite Chop Robinson at Penn State. Some guys like Muhammad Kamara, out of Colorado State. I picked Jonah Ellis here, though, defensive end out of Utah, because he's 6'2", 246. So, kind of a lean frame. 6'2" is not the tallest defensive end, and 246 is not the most powerful defensive end, but I think he's a really good speed rusher. I don't think he's very raw. I think he's pretty pro-ready. In my dream NFL fit for him is the Commanders in the 3rd round. There's some different valuations out there, guys, with late 3rd round, early 4th round. I broke it even, if you will, and I broke up kind of what I think. And this is, I think, third round, like the Commanders, like, yes, you might be saying, Aiden, well, Dan Quinn came over from Dallas and he brought pass rushers with him. Yeah, sure. They have amazing defensive tackle duo up the middle in Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. And but off the edge, after they traded away Chase Young and Montez Sweat to the Bears, respectively, like, who did you have? Right now, it's just KJ Henry, who barely played going into year 2. Casey Toohill, they lost to the Bills. Not that he was anything really anyway. Casey Toohill lost to Bills. Montez Sweat left. Chase Young left. And right now, it's just KJ Henry, Cleveland Farrell, and Dorrance Armstrong, who came over from Dallas with Dan Quinn to the Commanders. So I think you only have one for sure starter in there, Dorrance Armstrong. And then Cleveland Farrell is a rotational guy, is a third or fourth defensive end. And then KJ Henry is like a fringe roster guy anyway. So I think you need to get Jonah Ellis, and a speed rusher like this would be great for Dan Quinn to coach up. Next, we have a couple linebackers. Peyton Wilson, linebacker, NC State. Listen, guys, I understand the medicals. Okay, he played in college football 6 years. He's also 24 years old. And by the way, I got to say something. I'm not going to go on a rant here, but like, I think draft experts, draft media, fans, whatever, I think people overreact to a guy's age too much. Like, just because a guy's 21 and then a guy's 24, just because a guy's 22, then a guy's 25, somewhere in there. It doesn't mean like they're going to be bad just because they're older coming into the draft, coming in the NFL or what have you. So, like, people have different breakout ages. I feel like it's had to get off my chest. So, Peyton Wilson, 6'4", 230. Yes, you're probably only going to get one rookie contract out of him, and after anything after that is a bonus. I saw that the other day, today actually. So, I mean, if you could go 4 years out of him, then yeah. But he ran a 4.4 40. That's a mouthful to say. 4.4 flat 40. And my dream NFL fit for him, is the Browns in the second round. I think him paired next to Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. So him paired next to JOK would just be hair on fire. Linebacker duo, athletic, sideline to sideline. Both of them are very good in coverage. Maybe JOK a little better, but Peyton Wilson could hold his own plus more in coverage. So that's why I like him so much. I don't really care about the quote-unquote old age or breakout age or whatever you want to term it, just because he's 24. Like, big deal. I think that's over-exaggerated a lot. Not just him, with many, many prospects. Next, we're going to go over to the secondary. We just have corners and safeties left, so 4 prospects left. Our couple we have another linebacker. Sorry. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker, Clemson. Now, look, the linebacker's looking pretty lean, I would say. So I think you only have 3, like, for sure NFL starters in this linebacker class, like Peyton Wilson from NC State, who we just talked about, Edgerrin Cooper from Texas A&M, and then the last of the 3 here, in my opinion, starters, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. from Clemson. Then you can get into, like, Cedric Gray from UNC, from North Carolina, or Trevin Wallace from Kentucky. Those aren't for sure starters. Maybe they can be in 2 or 3 years, but Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker, Clemson, he's 6 foot, 230. So kind of on the smaller end. He's not going to cover a lot of ground. He's not going to be the most lengthy guy in coverage. My dream NFL fit for him is the Eagles, second round. Maybe that's a round too early. Maybe you're more comfortable with Trotter Jr. in the third round. I don't care. Like, it's like Eagles signed Devin White, and they drafted Nakobe Dean a couple years ago out of Georgia in the third round. I don't know how he fell there, but he did. Like, he's had some injury issues. He's been just hit or miss when he's been in the field. And the Eagles have never valued linebacker much. Well, it's time to get someone opposite Devin White / Nakobe Dean, or heck, even 3 linebacker sets. So it's time for Howie. If there's one knock on Howie Roseman, he's a wizard at team construction and a wizard at maneuvering the cap and cap maneuvering and all that. But if there's one knock, he doesn't really value the linebacker position, and his defense is getting old, slow, and they not interested in tackling, apparently, and they miss a ton of tackles. So we got to get some youth in there. It's time to value the linebacker position. So Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in the second round is great. Perfect dream NFL fit for the Eagles, in my opinion. Now we go over the secondary with corner Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback, Alabama. He's 6'1", 195, perfectly fine length for a corner. But my dream NFL fit for him is the Lions, actually, at number 29 overall. I know they have Amika Robertson. He's more of a backup slot guy. I know they have Emmanuel Mosley. How much can you really trust him? Because it seems like it tears the ACL every year. And then they had to cut Cam Sutton because of the wanted and Florida thing. And I wanted by police and getting arrested and all that. So they were kind of like forced their hand in cutting him, which I agree with, by the way, but they had to cut him. So I think Kool-Aid, yes, it's probably true they had just like I said with, who did I say it for? Just like I said with another prospect, I can't remember, but another prospect, we talked about earlier in this video. I think Kool-Aid had McKinstry had a better season in 2022, his sophomore year, than 2023, at his junior year at Alabama, respectively. But I still think like someone's gonna get and if he somehow falls out of the first round, I could see a team even trading up for him from the mid to late second to early second because they have to have him. The Lions here need a corner really badly, even with Cam Sutton. I would say Kool-Aid, but about a month ago when they cut Cam Sutton, like this is a no-brainer, and he fits what Dan Campbell wants to do. Next, second, two corners, Mikey Sainristil, cornerback, Michigan. I alluded to this earlier, I really fell in love with these Michigan players. 5'10", 182. Because of that size, I don't view it as a negative. I think he can be a really good shutdown slot corner, but he's probably only a nickel, so slot corner at the next level. And my dream NFL fit for him is the Baltimore Ravens in the second round. Now they pick 58 or 59. No, wait. 61, so I believe 61, 62, somewhere in that range. So they're probably going to have to trade up to the early to mid second round. But let's say they do it. Or if he somehow falls, like this would be a great fit, in my opinion. It would allow Kyle Hamilton to play more traditional safety, be that rover guy in the back end. People say the Chiefs and number 32 overall that picked up steam lately. Like, yeah, they say, well, you draft Mikey Sainristil and put him a slot corner. That will allow Trent McDuffie to move back to the outside where he played at Washington. Okay, but like, why would you want to move a player out of their spot they've been so elite at, like only going into year 3? He's been arguably the best. Actually, probably is, as much as I hate to admit it, that Bills chief for everything. He probably is the best slot corner in the league, so I wouldn't want to mess with that at nickel. So Mikey Sainristil, in my scenario, dream of a fit to the Ravens in the second round, whether they trade up or he just falls for some unknown reason. Excuse me. Last two guys here, two safeties. Cooper DeJean, safety, Iowa. Very, very athletic. He played basketball, baseball, and football in high school, and he threw for over 3,000 yards as a quarterback. QB as a quarterback. Sometimes get mixed up. A quarterback in high school, and he ran track. And he ran track for a couple years at Iowa, I believe, too. I think his athleticism. Now, I'm not saying he can't play corner. He can be awesome at corner. I think his athleticism is best showcased and showed off, if you will, at safety. Have him be a deep zone safety and let him work back there. But he is 6'1", 203, so he's got the thighs to go along with athleticism too. My dream NFL fit for him is the Packers at number 25 overall. If he somehow slides to this, like I would be mad because I want him really badly for the Bills at number 28, 3 picks before. But if they don't trade up, he sometimes slides here. Like this is automatic sprint and run the card and pick, if you will. Because if you want an immediate upgrade over Keyshawn Nixon in the slot and nickel corner, you got it. If you want to upgrade over Keyshawn Nixon and punt returner, you got it in Cooper DeJean. If you want someone opposite Jerry Alexander, high athleticism, you got it. And then if you want someone opposite Xavier McKinney, because you know how versatile Xavier McKinney is as well with Cooper DeJean, you got it. I think that's the route you go. The Packers, him and Cooper DeJean and Xavier McKinney, free strong safety respectively, would be awesome. Next, lastly here, this is our last prospect. Javon Bullard, safety, Georgia, another lastly of my guys here on defense. 5'11", 195 pounds. My dream fit for him is the Falcons in the second round. I'm not just saying that because like Atlanta, Georgia area, Athens, and Georgia to Atlanta, like low moving costs, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying it because they need a safety opposite Jesse Bates. And I think that would make for a great secondary with AJ Terrell one corner. Yeah, you probably still have to figure out the other corner spot, but Jesse Bates and in my hypothetical scenario here, Javon Bullard. I really like him. Some people say he's better suited in the NFL slot corner. I really like both Georgia's defensive backs, and Kamari Lassiter is more of a true corner, and then Javon Bullard, who is kind of a slot safety, but I think he's fit in nicely strictly at safety in the NFL. So anyways, guys, that is my My guys on the defense side of the ball for the 2024 NFL draft between offense last week and defense this week. I gave you about 20 or so names. So during draft day or after the draft weekend ends, you can come back and says, "Oh, Aiden's really gonna like this team fit because he had it as his guys and really likes those in the pre-draft process." And then, so today's April 24th. Just a quick thing before I get out of here. Tomorrow, I will be having on draft day, April 25th, my final 2024 NFL mock draft of the whole process. It's all led to this. So, anyways, guys, thank you for that. If you want to hear my immediate reactions, to that, you can probably follow me on Twitter for each night of the draft reactions. It's at a Weingartner13. Thank you for listening to this video, or watching today's video, and make sure you subscribe right here to the Around the Slice YouTube channel because we've had tons of pre-draft content lately. A couple weeks, we're gonna have instant reactions on my Twitter, like I just said, or here, or both, and or who knows. And then after draft, we're gonna have tons of content, division by division grades, AFC East, blah blah blah, NFC East, all that. So, anyways, guys, favorite team fits, favorite, if teams fill needs or not. So, yeah, I can't believe it's finally here. Like, football Christmas is here. My favorite day of the year is here. So, anyways, guys, I will be back after the draft or on Twitter, wherever you see me. Thank you for watching this video again. See you next time. Bye.